the information was available to you in your reality already. If they would only nudge you down a certain street at a certain time, that's all they may need to do. Sometimes you might actually hear them more strongly and more directly. You might experience them in your dreams. Very often, dream communication is one of the strongest ways that guides will communicate with you. And many of the so-called dreams that you may remember when you wake up may not always have just been the random collection of processing going on in your brain from the day's events, but may actually be representative of a communication or conversation you're having with friends and family on other levels.
The emotional body creates the physical template. All illness starts in the emotional field, without exception. If it's a genetic mutation, that starts in the emotional field, and it is something that has been so generously left behind by one of your ancestors. All right, they had a big emotional issue, a block. It altered the genetic material, and that got passed down through the genetic line.
Many people carry with them, even throughout their lives, even unto their deathbed, resentments and guilt and worry. And that is where all physical illness comes from these negative emotions that people nurture even.
It all goes back to the emotions, because the emotional body creates the physical reality. So if you're talking about weight and health, you know, how you are feeling about yourself is determining your physical body more so than what you're consuming and how you're exercising, which is a very different way of thinking for many of you, because you're conditioned to think that it's all physical, but it's not. It's all emotional.
Make no mistake, there is no thing as a generic human being. You come from such a different platform, different lives, different cultures, and you arrive in this culture. Some of you may wish to only eat one kind of thing, some of you wish to eat another. Do what your body feels best with, that results in the most energy and the most appropriateness for you.
At the deepest level in the human psyche, there is this archetype called separation, and it's based on the fact that you separate yourself from source when you choose to become born. And everyone has that experience over and over and over. Every lifetime that you choose to be incarnated, you are experiencing separation. Separation from source, separation from unconditional love, separation from the light, separation, separation. I feel disconnected, I feel separated. Something's missing in my life. The desire for something transcendent becomes very, very strong. And instead of seeking it authentically within, through one's spirituality, people will often seek it through external substances and mind-altering substances, seeking something transcendent through the use of drugs and alcohol.
Which usually represents a belief system in the person that thinks something is missing that needs to be replaced by something artificial. If that doesn't exist as a belief, then you will find that people will naturally ingest whatever food or liquid is in keeping with their best benefit.
Many of them are using to numb. All right, they don't want to feel the pain. Yes. All right. Some are very empathic. All right, and they are very in tune with what's going on with the planet and with other people, and it's too much for them to handle. They don't want to feel it because they're not clearing out their own field. All right, they're taking it on, and that's a choice. You don't have to take on others' energy. You can be aware, you can be one who is sensitive, but that doesn't mean that it is your responsibility to take it on.
The new consciousness right now is about the I am. And while to some it may sound very selfish, It is actually about discovering yourself.
Working on yourself is the greatest gift that you can give to humanity. And that sounds so self-centered and so negative, but that's how you've been conditioned.
It is about putting yourself first, loving yourself first, taking care of yourself first, having compassion with yourself first, and knowing yourself first.
If you want to keep someone from accessing their own power and helping to heal the planet or helping to heal mass consciousness, you're going to tell them that it's very selfish for them to look inside.
Instead of worrying or being afraid of what's going on in the world around you, just focus on your own world.
Then, and truly then, you are able to help humans, but you'll understand only humans that are choosing help.
Look at your issues. Where are your buttons being pushed? Where do you feel fear? Where do you feel that you shrink away? You know when you've got a fear. All right? Many of you are quite aware of it and decide, you know, I really don't want to look at that. And so you don't. All right? And you know what we're talking about. There are times when you feel yourself tense up and you are conscious of it. So it is a choice.
Learn to be with yourself. Go off and take a month, 40 days perhaps, as Yeshua did. Go off by yourself and learn to be with you. Learn that you don't need to steal energy from anyone else.
There must be a balance between the intellect and what you would call the heart. And that person who is balanced, that human who is balanced, will show. You'll know them. For they will seem to be more gentle. They seem to be more open and less judgmental. This would be the balance. You might say, well, they are heart-based. They are not. They are balanced. Never throw away what your truth is. Never throw away what your logic tells you. But temper it with the emotion of your heart and become balanced.
There's a big misunderstanding in society and in many cultures that if you're going to become spiritual, you're going to get real restricted. And that's because of the old dogmas of different religions, different churches in different ways. But spirituality itself is not at all restricting in one's way of experiencing life. The true hunger for knowing one's own divine nature, for experiencing one's own divine nature, that true hunger can lead you into great discovery and great freedom, great freedom.
Each of you standing alone is fully consciously aligned with your higher self is far more powerful than many millions who are living in fear or doubt or anger. One person.
There's a great sage who likes to say, if you want enlightenment, lighten up. And certainly so, that is absolutely true. But we would suggest that one of the great secrets to lightening up is being willing to heal and transform one's angers and fears so that the joys can be fuller and richer, and so that creation can become a very active principle in your life.
The foundation of our work here with John is simply to encourage people to be joyful, to find good in the world around them, to look for it, deliberately look for it, not just to stumble over it accidentally, but to look for the good, first of all in themselves, to be appreciative for this gift of life that they have in these human bodies. All of you are physical extensions of your God selves. Be joyful. Be joy.
You know, you all are beautiful beings of light. All right, and we are very honored to have an opportunity to speak to you or to work with you. And you really are very special and very rare. This planet has some very beautiful things on it. And the range and expression of love is amazing.